A young apprentice, burdened by a painful past, sought guidance from the wise Zen master. The apprentice knelt before him, tears glistening, and poured out his heart. "Master," he cried, "the past clings to me like a shadow. Regret and sorrow hold me back. How can I ever find peace?" The master listened patiently, his eyes reflecting the calmness of a mountain lake. Then, with a gentle smile, he invited the apprentice to follow him outside. They walked along a winding path until they reached a rushing river. The apprentice watched, mesmerized, as the water churned and foamed around the rocks. "See this river, my child?" the master asked. "It flows relentlessly onward, never clinging to the past. The water that rushed over those rocks a moment ago is already far downstream." The apprentice pondered this. "But master," he said, "what of the leaves and twigs caught in the rapids? They are tossed and turned, unable to escape the current." The master chuckled softly. "Those leaves and twigs," he explained, "are not the river. They are merely temporary passengers, carried along by the flow. Just like our thoughts and emotions, they come and go. We can choose to be like the river, observing them without clinging." He dipped his hand into the water, letting the cool current flow through his fingers. "The past is just like this water," he continued. "It has already passed. Holding onto it is like trying to grasp the water in your hand. It slips away, leaving you empty-handed." The apprentice looked back at the river, a flicker of understanding in his eyes. "So, how do I let go, master?" "Mindfulness," the master replied. "Focus on the present moment, on the breath in your lungs, the feel of your feet on the ground. Acknowledge your thoughts and emotions, but don't let them control you. Like the leaves in the river, let them flow on by." The apprentice took a deep breath, feeling the cool air fill his lungs. He closed his eyes and listened to the sounds of the rushing water. Slowly, a sense of calm washed over him. "Thank you, master," he whispered, a newfound lightness in his voice. "I will try to remember the river." The master smiled. "The river is always here, my child, and so is the present moment. That is where peace is found." Weeks turned into months, and the young apprentice diligently practiced mindfulness. He began each day with meditation, focusing on his breath and the sensations around him. Throughout the day, he'd pause and observe his thoughts and emotions, acknowledging them without judgment. One afternoon, while sweeping the temple grounds, a memory surfaced, a particularly painful moment from his past. A familiar tightness gripped his chest, and a wave of anger threatened to engulf him. He stopped sweeping, remembering the master's words. He closed his eyes and pictured the rushing river. He imagined the memory as a leaf swirling in the current. He felt the urge to reach out and grab it, to relive the pain, but with each breath, the urge lessened. Instead, he focused on the sound of the broom bristles against the stone floor, the feel of the cool afternoon breeze, and the warmth of the sun on his back. Slowly, the memory began to fade, like a distant echo. When he opened his eyes, the world seemed brighter. He continued sweeping, a sense of peace settling within him. The past hadn't vanished entirely, but it no longer held the same power. He understood that it was just a part of his story, not his whole journey. One day, a new student arrived at the monastery, burdened by a heavy past. The young apprentice, now a seasoned practitioner, sought guidance from the master. "Master," he said, bowing respectfully, "may I share your teachings about the river with the new student?" The master smiled. "You have learned well, my child. Teaching is the best way to learn. Go and share your wisdom." The young apprentice approached the new student, a newfound confidence in his voice. He shared the story of the river, explaining how letting go of the past could bring peace. He saw a flicker of recognition in the student's eyes, a spark of hope. In that moment, the young apprentice realized he had not just learned a lesson, but had become a teacher himself. The weight of the past had truly lifted, replaced by the joy of guiding others on the path to inner peace.